So I'm Danielle and this is Augie. And we live in Broken Hill, which is in far western New South Wales. It's around 600 k's to our closest capital city, which is cross-border in South Australia, and about 12 hours drive from Sydney. Augie is in year 6. She's 12 years old and she loves hanging out with her friends and family, arts and crafts. She has a fascination with reptiles and has a bearded dragon and a jaguar python at home. It was about 6 years ago, when August was 6, we started to notice that she was unwell, getting quite thin, thirsty and urinating a lot. So at that point we took her to the GP. We couldn't get into the Clive Bishop Medical Centre, which was our normal GP, so we took her to an alternative one. They tested her for a UTI and sent her urine away, but gave her antibiotics at the time. They didn't work. 2 weeks later, we were called back to that GP but couldn't get an appointment to look at her pathologies. So we sat and Googled that night to look at why a 6-year-old would be urinating a lot. And the 2 things that came up were either a UTI or type 1 diabetes. Going through the symptoms of type 1 diabetes, we realised that she had quite a few of them, and we were quite panicked the next morning, called the Clive Bishop Medical Centre and fortunate enough to get an emergency appointment where they reviewed her blood glucose and let us know that yes, she was indeed type 1 diabetic. So it was Halloween when she got diagnosed. So it was her first year going trick-or-treating, and obviously that got canned. Her father went home with our youngest daughter and he was very emotional. So we called him later that night when we were admitted to the ward, and he was sitting there with the Halloween chocolates, crying. So when she was diagnosed, obviously getting the emergency appointment was really important. How quickly they acted in terms of contacting both the emergency department as well as Women's and Children's in Adelaide, where we would need to be transferred to. We were also transferred via the RFDS to Adelaide to get her immediate health care. But also our GP from Clive Bishop Medical Centre called me on a regular basis, one to check in on her, but also to check in on our wellbeing as a family. Having someone local who's part of the community meant that we really received a lot of support. I think having the support from the RFDS and just primary health care in general in Broken Hill, in such a remote community, is so important. Means that we don't have to access acute healthcare services. So it's really important for us and for the more remote communities around here to have these types of services locally. We are so grateful to the supporters of the RFDS, because without them we wouldn't have access to this vital medical service.
Thank you to all the supporters at the RFDS.